Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about this couple, this very mysterious case of the dentist and his wife, Spencer and Monique. Mysteriously, just somebody walked into their home, gunned them down brutally in front of their two young children, spared the children, thankfully. Um, but still, we don't know what the motive was. How did they get into the property, first and foremost, as well? Were they let into the property? Was it somebody this couple knew? Or was it just someone who happened to have the keypad number to get into the property? We're going to talk about that. And what was the motive? It seems unlikely that it was robbery because nothing was taken for a start. Was it a robber who was surprised? Anyway, we're going to look at all the options. I've got a huge list of things here that we're going to talk about in relation to this case. Various things, and the sort of probably the most important thing that we're going to look at and talk about is law enforcement have released a video of who they believe to be the culprit of this. Oh, hang on, there's something going on with my phone. They have released a video of who they think to be the culprit. So we're going to have a look at that. What can we take from the CCTV? I mean, I think you can probably think there is more CCTV than what we've been shown. Now, and then we've got to think, why have the police released that CCTV? Why aren't they just getting on with catching the person? Have they got no suspect in mind? Or have they got a suspect in mind? Personally, I think they probably have got a suspect in mind. Maybe the CCTV, that snippet has been released just to keep everybody occupied and talking about that while the police get on with, their job of catching the vicious killer of this couple. Now, to all intents and purposes, they seemed like, a happy couple from what we can see. Their family, we'll have a look at the statement that the family's released. Talking about them and how happy they seemed to be. They were just about to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. Now, we know that pictures on social media, even the wedding video that's been released, we don't know what goes on in the background of people's lives, do we? We don't know. This expression always comes to my mind with cases. And I feel like there's something in this case that maybe is hidden, but I don't know. We all have our public lives, we have our private lives, and we have our secret lives. And that's all of us, not just, this couple. You're never 100% certain what's going on in people's lives, even though people appear to be happy. How often then we find out that they weren't happy, or there's things going on in the background. There's love triangles, there's money problems. Is this case something to do with that? Like something that involves something that wasn't known to people? Well, time will tell, and it'll all come out in the wash, won't it, as they say. Anyway, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody for liking, for subscribing. Please share as well. That's another free way you can help my channel. And a very special thank you to those of you who are members. We're back to normal with the members live this Thursday. And also, of course, people who send me super stickers, buy me Ko-fis, or PayPal me. Thank you so much. Thank you to people that email me with cases or advice, or over my computer, because if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know my computer decided to give up the ghost and I'm on laptop. So if it's lagging a little bit, I'm so sorry about that. There's not much I can do until I get a chance to speed up the internet on my laptop. But anyway, thank you to everybody who supports my channel in whichever way they do. Let me take off the banner now. So let's get into this case now. You almost don't know where to start with it. Where's my glasses? I've written everything on my pad, but it's a little bit dark in it. I have to pull the blinds down when I do a live, because otherwise the sun sort of shines in. It is sunny today for once. It's been, for those of you who don't know, I'm based in Spain. On the Costa Blanca, and you know, they say the sun always shines in Spain. It certainly hasn't done recently. So it was out earlier. I think it's gone grey again now, but we've had constant rain all over Christmas, New Year. Today is the last day of celebrations in Spain. It's what's called Three Kings Day, so we are technically still in the holidays. Okay, so where should we start? Where should we start with this case? I think we'll start with the 911 calls. So this guy, Spencer, he was a dentist, and he worked at a dental practice. I'm not sure if what his wife did. I'll have a look at that. Maybe there's some more information on that. But anyway, Spencer was a dentist, and the reason that these poor unfortunate couple were discovered is because of his job, because he didn't turn up at his dentist surgery that morning. Now imagine he had patients waiting, and apparently he was normally so very reliable, you know, it immediately caused alarm bells that he didn't turn up for work. They tried to contact him, the people at work tried to contact him, couldn't contact him, tried to contact Monique, his wife, couldn't get hold of her. And so you can imagine the alarm bells started going off, and they got in touch with the person who owns the dental practice. He wasn't around that area at the time, and it was him who originally phoned 911. We're going to, as I say, we're going to listen to the 911 calls. Now, in the end, quite a few people phoned 911 because then people turned up at the house to try knocking on the door, and they couldn't get any answer, but they could hear children crying inside, because this couple had a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old child, and they were in the house when this terrible event happened, which is horrible to think of, isn't it? But anyway, luckily, at least they were spared. The children were spared. So we're going to talk about that. Why were the children spared? Because quite often in these sort of cases, if it's like, you know, some sort of professional jealousy or some money thing or some grudge thing, quite often they do kill the children as well. You know, the whole family gets annihilated. So this person who committed this horrible act, at least they seem to have some decency that they did spare the children. But of course, these poor children are now left orphans, you know, so it's still, you know, doesn't make them a nice person, of course, but it's something, isn't it? So let's have a look at the now the 911 operator is getting a lot of criticism because, well, the thing about 911 operators is they do this job day in, day out, don't they? And I don't know how regularly they get new training. They should get new training quite often, because sometimes they sound a bit jaded, don't they? When we listen to the 911 calls quite often, the
911, what's the location of your emergency?
Pause it a minute. Yeah, they sound a bit sort of cynical. It's like, oh, 911, what's the nature of your emergency? Because, of course, this is a job to them. They do it day in, day out. They get a bit cynical. They get a bit jaded. And it's a shame, isn't it? Because, of course, each call is unique. And they probably get a lot of bogus calls as well. Sometimes you can hear that in the voice. It's like they don't really believe what the person's telling them. It's a shame. So anyway, this is one of those cases. The 911 operator is getting quite a lot of stick for the way she dealt with this, the way she dealt with these calls. But anyway, you let me know what you think. Let's have a listen.
911, what's the location of your emergency? We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to the first 911 call. Anyway, we'll find that again in a minute. Yeah, so she says, "Oh, we've had a few calls on that. What's changed?" You know, like it's not really appropriate, is it, to say that when somebody's ringing up? And then he says, "Oh, well, there's a body." So this is the second person that phoned. This is a friend, I think, or somebody who worked at the practice, whereas the first person who phoned was the person who owns the practice, who actually wasn't in the area. But of course, the employees had told him that, you know, there was a problem. So let's just listen to that from the beginning again. So I don't know who this person is and why they've actually gone to the home.
What's the location of your emergency? We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line. All right. What's going on there?
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
So now, how he could see into the house, into the bedroom, I'm not sure, because we don't really know properly the arrangement of this house. Was the bedroom on the first floor? Sometimes because he apparently could see in there that Spencer's body was at the side of the bed. Was Spencer in bed when this happened and he went to get out of bed maybe, and that's when he was shot? Now, Spencer, the husband, he was shot several times, whereas Monique, his wife, she was shot once in the chest. So I think, you know, most people would say that suggests, was Spencer the main target? Why was he sort of shot so many times, whereas Monique was only shot once? But of course, it could have just been that Spencer was a bigger threat. You know, sometimes attackers think of the man as the worst threat, so they want to put the man down quickly because they don't want the man to overpower them. They don't worry so much if Monique is like not as strong as Spencer, and maybe one bullet was enough to silence Monique and stop her doing anything. Maybe Spencer put up more of a fight. You know, we don't know for certain that the reason that Spencer had so many more injuries, so many more shots, was because he was the main target or not. I mean, it could have been that Monique was the main target, and Spencer was the sort of collateral damage, and just he took more bullets to sort of quieten him down. So we don't know yet, but I think on first glance, people, you know, I've been watching a lot of podcasts about this, you know, with ex-detectives and things like that. And I think generally people are assuming, but of course it's not certain, that if this couple were targeted, it wasn't a robbery gone wrong, or a case of mistaken identity, or you know, if they were actually targeted, it's likely that it was Spencer that was the main target. So then you think, well, why? What would make Spencer a target as a dentist? You know, we're going to talk about that, aren't we? As well, possible motives. Let's just hear the end of the calls first.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of like you know, does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. And then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Like yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay. How old is he?
37.
Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just because that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right. We're on our way.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home.
So this actually is the first. I don't know why this is Fox News, and I'm grateful that they've put the 911 calls up. They seem to have done them back to front. So that first call we listened to, that was actually the second call, wasn't it? This is the first call from the owner of the dental practice.
Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to.
So he says immediately that he's not in that area. He's in the state of Florida. And this, of course, happened in Columbus, wasn't it? And let me just check that because, my geography is not brilliant as far as America's concerned, or anywhere, to be honest. Anyway, it didn't happen in Florida, that's for sure. It was Columbus, wasn't it? So the guy who owns the dental practice, he's quick to say that he's not in that area.
Work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
2
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
Did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. We're very, very concerned because this is very out of character, and we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concern.
Yeah, very out of character. This is a man who always turned up, if not early, certainly on time, always fulfilled his obligations, turned up for his clients, his customers. And then, of course, it's made even doubly sort of worrying that not only they couldn't get hold of him, but when they tried to contact his wife, they couldn't get hold of her either.
Okay. We will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Our boss did not report to work. We haven't been able to get a hold of him for 3 hours. We are on site and we can hear.
Okay, I just talked to somebody there.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
Yeah, I just got a call from somebody and sent it back up for dispatch.
Okay.
Are you there? Because you're not showing that you're at the
No,
location.
I'm en route there.
911. What's the location of your emergency?
I think that's, why has that gone quiet?
Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing
we
the
already
wellness.
had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, then they could hear children crying inside. So I'm not sure how they got in the end, if the police actually broke in or whether somebody had the number for the keypad. So apparently it's like an alarm number where you have to put the number in for the keypad. So this has caused a lot of speculation, if you like, because people are saying if it was a keypad, to get into this property, who else had this keypad number? Because there are no signs of a break-in. So either somebody's let this person in, or they had the keypad number and went in and surprised them while they were sleeping, because it was in the early hours of the morning. So it's likely that if somebody's got children, maybe that some of their friends or whatever might have the keypad number. So just in case of emergencies, so they could go in. Another thing that's possible that people are saying is, did that when they moved into that property, did they change the keypad number from whoever was living there before? Because you can end up with a situation where other people might have your security number if you don't change it, but sometimes it can be like a big kerfuffle, to change the whole sort of keypad and etc. I don't know. I mean, if that's the case, it's just something that we're talking about. Yeah, or if they did still have the same keypad as it had from whoever lived there before, is this a case where someone's walked in thinking that the people that lived there before were still there? Is that a possibility? If there's no reason why this dentist and his wife should be targeted, is it at all possible that whoever lived there before may have targeted them? Now, I was watching one podcast, I think it was Brian Enton, and he was saying that although that is a nice area and it's a lovely house, not far away up the road, the neighbourhood is not so salubrious. Is it possible that somebody sort of strayed from that neighbourhood looking for easy money? But how did they get into the property? I mean, this is going to be the crux, isn't it? If it was a burglar or a thief looking for money for drugs or for whatever, how would they get into that property, without them hearing them come in? It's like somebody was let in or let themselves in. Okay, let's have a look now, before we go into sort of other theories. Let's have a look at what the police have issued. They've issued this CCTV of the suspect. I've got this somewhere ready to show you. And, in itself, the police releasing this raises a lot of questions. Why have they released it? Do they really have no idea who has committed this crime? That they're asking for the public's help. They're asking for the public's help to find the killer of this couple. Does that suggest that they really don't have any idea who did it, that they haven't been able to find a suspect? Or do you think it's like just to give this snippet that they've released? Is it just to give someone things to talk about while they get on with the work of actually arresting this couple? So apparently Columbus PD believes the couple were killed sometime between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. on December the 30th at their home. So that's obviously this person thought they would be sleeping during that time. So it makes you wonder, were they surprised in their beds? So let's have a look at the actual. Oh, this is the statement. Let me just read you the statement from the Columbus Division of Police. Detectives believe the murder of Mr. and Mrs. Tepe occurred sometime between 2 and 5 a.m. on the morning of December the 30th. It says in the upstairs of their residence. Just wondering how that person, if it was in the upstairs of their residence, how did the person see the body next to the bed? Maybe there's a way of getting up to a veranda outside the window or whatever. But if it was upstairs, how could they see in the body next to the bed? Anyway, recovered video footage shows a person of interest walking in the alley near the Tepe's residence during that time frame. We have received and are continuing to receive numerous tips from the community which our detectives are following up on. If you have information that could lead to the identity of the person in this video, please call, and then you've got the number there, or use the QR code provided. Everything's a QR code these days, isn't it? It drives me absolutely mad. Anonymous tips may also be made to Central Ohio Crime Stoppers, and then you've got the number there. We want to thank the community for the tips we've received. We know there are questions and concerns surrounding this tragic incident. Detectives are working diligently to solve this case. We will continue to update you as the investigation processes. Please note this video has been divided into sections to accommodate social media aspect ratio requirements. Well, that's very obliging of them, isn't it? I mean, normally, they're obviously at that point in the investigation where they're asking for help from social media, and I always think that at the end of the day, there's no point in criticizing social media. Social media is here to stay. That's just the way it is. So statements like this, I think, are a good thing, to try and engage social media and people with helping with the case, rather than sort of saying, oh, well, social media interfering, etc. So they want to solve the case, and people on social media, all of them really, generally, they mean well, don't they? They want these cases to be solved. So here's the video. Let's have a look. We all want the case to be solved. Everybody, nobody wants someone to get away with doing a terrible thing like this. Now, we're going to have a look at this video, and I'm going to tell you what I sort of thought about the person on what we can see of them anyway. And hopefully you'll let me know what you think of the person, about the way they walk. We can't, they're very covered up, aren't they? So you can't really see even their skin color really, or anything like that. But let me know what you think, because you can tell a lot all the same from the way somebody walks, etc. So let's just watch it first, and then we'll talk about it. So, just first of all, I want to say, so you can see they're wearing a hoodie, they've got their hands in their pockets. I'd say everything's covered up. You can't see, their ethnicity or skin color or anything. But you can see that they don't have a bag with them or anything. So if they've got a gun, I mean, I don't know what gun they used. But another important thing is they left cartridges at the scene. So is this another one of those absolute thickos, or have they been drinking or taking something? They left their gun cartridges at the scene. So straight away, that means the gun's going to get identified, isn't it? So that's a bit, it's not a very clever thing to do, is it? This has not been done by some criminal mastermind, I don't think. And then, but they're not carrying a bag or anything. So whatever gun they had, it must be in their pockets, unless they've walked into this house and known where there was a gun in the house and shot them with their own gun. But they've got their hands in their pockets. Is there a gun in those pockets? It looks like jeans to me they're wearing, and a black hoodie. But anyway, let me know what you think. Maybe it's not jeans. But the other thing that strikes me as I watch this is they're a very tall person. Tall, broad. When you see them from the back as they're walking, they're quite broad. They've got a funny gait, I think. I wasn't sure if they'd been drinking or they were, they seem to have an unsteady walk. So is this someone who's been drinking and then, for whatever reason, got this grudge against this dentist or his wife, and just decided at 2:00 in the morning, well, that's it, I'm going to go off and do this? And, I'm sure the police will have looked at more CCTV and doorbell camera, etc., than just this. And maybe they know, did they walk there, or where is their car parked? Have the police got more footage that shows the car even? You know, I wonder if the police are just releasing this as something so people have something to talk about. Sometimes they do that. But yeah, it looks tall. Do you think? Because you can see when he walks past this car, I don't know, he seems to have long legs, but you know. There. Now, the way they were walking there to me just seemed just a little. I mean, you can see there's snow and ice on the ground, so that may be why they were walking a little bit unsteadily, or maybe they're just trying not to slip, or have they got slip-proof boots on or whatever. And if, as I say, if they've got a gun with them, it's stuffed into their pockets. There. And that especially looked a bit unsteady. They seemed to sort of walk over there. Quite a broad back, don't you think? Long legs, broad back. There's something about the way this person walks that's quite distinctive. All right, let's watch it again. Oh, go right back to the beginning. Hang on. I would say they're not old, not an old person, you know, maybe in their 30s, or similar age to the couple, probably. You know, I don't know why I'm even saying that, but just that's how it strikes me. It doesn't strike me as an older person, certainly no more than 50, I would say, 40, 50. Doesn't look like a teenager either, but you know, this is just me speculating. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But to me, they look tall, they look muscular, broad from the back, and there's something quite distinctive about their gait. Go back again. I wonder if I can slow it down. Hang on. Yeah, let's slow it down. That'd be better. Yeah, they look tall to me. Long legs, long legs. And they're walking a little bit all over the place. Maybe they've had a drink. Maybe they've taken some subs. Look at that. Or maybe they're just avoiding the snow and the ice. Maybe they're just avoiding the ice spots. Something about that, the way that person's walking. So we'll look at that again later, but for now that's probably enough. So yeah, don't forget to let me know what you think about them, about the person in comments. Any ideas about hi Daniel, happy Tuesday. Happy King's Day. It's King's Day here in Spain. So yeah, so that's what the police have released. The footage that the police have released. Right, just let me put some windows down. Put some windows down. Right, I'm going to have a look at. So the Tepe family have released a statement, and they're the ones that released the video from the wedding. You know, which is lovely. You know, it just looks so lovely, and of course they were coming up to their 5-year wedding anniversary. So let's have a look at the statement. Oh. this another? Oh, this is a video that just shows the property. Let's have a look. So this is the Columbus Dispatch. And this is a video of the property where this happened. Now, yeah, so looking at this, if this is the house where the Tepes were found, how did that person, so the person said he, on the 911 call, that he saw the body next to the bed, but then the Columbus police said they were found upstairs. So I'm just wondering how he could, or is it one of those houses that's higher at the front and then at the back? You know, sometimes you have these houses where you have to go up steps to the front to get in, but the back is lower down. How have they managed to see the body next to the bed? But anyway, that's what they said, isn't it? So I'm sure the police are looking into that. Don't need me to look into that. So this is the actual property where they were found. So it's detached, isn't it? It's like a tall townhouse, but it's not attached to its neighbours. It is a detached house. So whoever did this, at the end of the day, they've walked up here, you know, walked along. We saw the suspect walking along that road, and then they've come and they've literally walked right up the path into the house. Now, did they ring the doorbell? Or did they have the keypad number and enter surreptitiously? Apparently, there's no signs of forced entrance. So they've either somebody's let them in, or they have known. Somebody's either let them in, or they have known exactly how to get in there. You know, that's odd, isn't it? It's very odd, this case. And if they let them in, but if they let them in, why would he be found next to the bed? Because if he'd got up to let somebody in, he would not be near the bed, would he? He'd be at the door, and then whoever it was came in and would have shot them in the hallway or at the door. But if the bodies were found upstairs, then it suggests to me that they have entered surreptitiously, unless you can press something from your bedroom. You know, I don't know. Imagine your friend turned up, said that they had a problem, and could you let, and you might let, if there's some way that you can let them in from the bedroom. Oh yeah, come on, we were sleeping, but come on, come up. I just don't know how this person got in there, but what we do know is they did get in there, and they shot both of these people, and especially Spencer. He got the full brunt of the person's anger or whatever it was, because he got the multiple gunshots, and poor Monique was shot once in the chest. And all this was done while where were their children at the time? I mean, were they sleeping in different bedrooms? One of their children is only 1 year old, so it's quite possible that they could have been in the same bedroom with them, isn't it? Or even the 4-year-old, it's, where there's still children that are young enough to go and sleep in with their parents. So yeah, what has happened here? It's so mysterious. And did they have any door cam? Because you think, did they have a door cam? Where has the killer actually been captured on their door cam? But if, like, when we saw the video of the suspected killer, they're sort of, hoodie, you couldn't see any part of them, could you? You could not even see, their ethnicity, their hands, to see the colour of their skin or anything. You could not see anything. So but surely this couple, if some guy turned up at their door dressed like that, where if you didn't know them, you would not let them in, would you, unless you knew them? So yeah, it's a very, very mysterious, isn't it? So let's just have a look, see if there's anything else. I think this video is just of the actual house. So yeah, police found Spencer Tepe, 37, and Monique Tepe, 39, inside their North 4th Street residence on December the 30th. Now, just looking at, I know it's only that brief CCTV or whatever footage it is, I would say that person walking there is a similar age to that. That's just from the way they were walking. I don't think they were very. Hey, I don't think. Tia, come here. I don't think they were very young, and I don't think they were very old. I think they were probably a similar age to Spencer and Monique. That's just the impression that I get, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so that neighbourhood, it looks like a nice neighbourhood and all that. So yeah, no publicly announced suspects so far in the case, but they have released now that video of the supposed suspect. Let's just have a look at that again, if I've got it handy somewhere. Not sure. Right, no. Okay, so let's go. Sorry, I want to get out of this now. So, yeah, their family have released a statement. Where is the statement? Calling the deaths tragic and senseless, and remembering the couple as welcoming community members and dedicated parents to their 2 children. Oh, that's so very sad. And they said they were devastated. So Rob Misley, Monique's brother, said in a statement on behalf of the family on January the 2nd, they were devastated and described the couple as extraordinary people whose lives were filled with joy, with love, joy, and deep connection to others. Spencer was a devoted and proud father, a loving partner, and a friend to everyone he met. He was intelligent, warm, and endlessly welcoming. A graduate of the Ohio State University and a member of the American Dental Association, Spencer was fluent in Spanish and deeply committed to serving others. He gave back through Big Brothers, Big Sisters. He was a huge Bengals and Buckeyes fan, and he lived life with energy, laughter, and generosity. So we've got memorials building up there, of course. Yeah, so I can't see how could that guy who said he saw the body next to the bed, unless the bedroom is here on the ground floor, I just can't see how he could see that. And the family described Monique as a loving, patient, and joyful mother whose warmth defined her. So some glowing sort of, to talk about them in glowing terms. Monique had a background in childhood education. She brought care and intention into everything she did. She was an excellent baker, a thoughtful planner, and someone who found joy in bringing people together. Her kindness made people feel instantly at home, the family said. Together, Spencer and Monique shared a beautiful, strong, and deeply happy relationship. Now, that may well be true, but, we don't know if there was anything else going on in that relationship. It doesn't seem so from what the family say, but, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it, what else might come out. Hi, Westside. I'm well, thank you. I hope you are too. Thank you for being here. Yeah, they loved to travel, to laugh, build a life rooted in love. They were proud parents of 2 beautiful children and their beloved golden doodle. So I presume the dog is okay as well, the dog and the children. They haven't mentioned the dog. And they created a home filled with warmth, happiness, and connection. We are heartbroken beyond words. While no outcome can ever undo this loss, our family is committed to seeing this tragedy fully and fairly brought to justice, and to honouring Spencer and Monique by protecting the future of the children they love so deeply. So it looks like the family are going to take over looking after the children. At least they've got people to look after them. So Columbus police are asking anyone with surveillance videos or photos of any suspicious people or vehicles in the area to submit the digital evidence via a QR code. Oh, these QR codes. God, you'll need a QR code to go to the loo soon. Police are looking for photos and video taken between midnight and 9 a.m. in the area bordered by the Summit Street to the east, North Grant Avenue to the west, and East 7th Avenue to the south. And the dispatch saw a Columbus police crime camera at East 8th Avenue and North 4th Street near the Tepe home. A Columbus police spokesperson declined to say whether it captured anything related to the shooting, saying it was now part of an ongoing investigation. And there's the QR code there. So this provides a link, contains a link where people living near the 1400th block of North 4th Street can submit footage from surveillance. And the police are asking anyone with information to contact the homicide unit. Okay. So now, what do you all think about this? You know, let me know what you think. I mean, well, we don't know, obviously. We're stumped as to why somebody would have done this to this couple. But I just wanted to talk about a few things. Let's have one more look at the let's have one more look at the footage that's been released. So this is the suspect. And the law enforcement have released this. So to me, this is a very tall person. There could be any ethnicity. We've got no idea of ethnicity. To me, they're tall, sort of broad, powerful strides, you know, once you slow it down like that. They look like they're walking a little bit erratically, but it could be just simply avoiding the snow and ice. Or are they, you know, drunk or on something? I don't know. There's something about the way this person's walking. If they got a gun stuffed in their pocket, where have they come from? Did they walk there, or is there a car parked around the corner? You know, and do they know this couple? Do they know this couple? How did they get into the house? You know, these are all the questions, aren't there? There's a lot of questions, so many questions over this case. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I just want to say. So one of the podcasts I was watching, and I'm so sorry, but I've forgotten the name of the podcast because I've watched that many, was saying that they'd investigated into this. Now, this couple, for Monique, it was a second marriage. I need to look into it more. And I don't know if it's even relevant, to be honest, to the case, but, you know, just something. Monique had been married before. And according to the podcaster that I was watching, who had dockets and, you know, certificates and things, marriage certificates, said that Monique's first husband then married a man who they're now divorced from. Now, could this have anything to do with this case, if it's even true? Yeah, said that Monique, so this podcaster is convinced and said they showed evidence that Monique's first husband then married somebody else who's got a cleaning company, who turned out, and initially she thought it was a woman, but it turned out it's actually a man, to whom they have subsequently divorced. Could that have, is there anything that, so it's just it's not, how can I explain, it's probably got nothing to do with this whatsoever, but it's just something a little bit unorthodox, that's all. And, you know, every possibility has to be looked at, doesn't it? Now, Spencer had not been married before. Neither of them had children before. Monique had been married, as I say, before, but she hadn't had any children with her first husband. And then Spencer and Monique were lucky enough to find each other and, get married. And they, on the surface, they seem to have this lovely, blissful sort of family life with their two kids. But, we don't know that that's the truth of their whole situation. But that's, the family seemed to think, it was that they were happy, but were there secrets? I don't know. So the other thing to me that's curious, so I'm just going to go through the things that I find curious and, wonder why it's happened, is why did that person leave the cartridges behind? I mean, maybe if they were drunk or they had been taking something, weren't quite, maybe they didn't even think about the cartridges. But leaving the cartridges behind obviously gives them a link, gives a link for the police to maybe find the weapon, which is great. It is good for the police, but you think, well, there can't be some, they're not going to be a very, what's the word? They're not sort of like the sharpest criminal mind, are they, to leave their cartridges behind so their gun can be identified. The other thing, was the 911 calls. They were strange, I thought. Why did everybody turn up at the house? I mean, I understand why they'd be concerned, why he hadn't turned up at work, and I understand why his boss would have phoned the police to ask for a welfare check, because, this normally reliable guy hasn't turned up at work, can't get hold of him, we can't get hold of his wife. But it seemed like quite a lot of them turned up at his house, which just seems strange to me. I'm just thinking, if you worked with someone and they didn't turn up and you were worried about them, would you go to their house? I mean, maybe it was just so local and easy to go to. But, would you leave all the patients there at the dentist and go round to the house? And not only just one person, but quite a few people did. I don't know if you would or not. Let me know what you think. But of course, you can never say what you might do in these sort of situations. So, of course, the other strange thing was this keypad entry, or how did they even get into this property? Were they let in by this unfortunate couple? Or did they, for some reason, could be because they know the couple or they've been in the house before, or it could be that they had the keypad code or whatever from before. Is it nothing to do with this couple? Is it just a question of somebody going in there thinking somebody else was living there, or using the keypad code that they had? I don't know. I expect bad people sort of sell this sort of information, don't they? If somebody's moved into a new property, moved into a property, but it's still got the same key code from the people before, is that information that could be sold to sort of nefarious people who then go in? But then why would they? There's no way, in my opinion, that this is a robbery, because if somebody's going to rob someone or rob a property, they wait outside until everybody's gone out. They only had to wait for him to go to work, didn't they? That's one less person in there. Or wait for, I don't know, where they've all gone shopping or so. Why go in there when they're all in there in the middle? I know it's the middle of the night, but go in there, and now this person, whoever it is, instead of a robbery charge when they're finally caught, which they will be, looking at a double murder charge. So they're looking at this really serious charge. That's unusual for a robber. I know robbers do panic sometimes if they get caught in the act of doing something. Maybe Spencer woke up as this person was going through the house, or maybe Monique woke up first and it was a panic killing. I mean, and they had to leave before they had a chance to take anything. But, that guy walking along the road there towards their house, he didn't have a bag with him or anything, put anything in. If he was planning on going there to rob Spencer and Monique, what was he going to put everything in, or was he thinking he would pick up a bag while he was there? You know, sometimes robbers do that, don't they? They put their sort of ill-gotten gains in something that they find in the property. But I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Does it? Feels like a personal attack, this, for whatever reason. So yeah, if he was, so his body apparently was found next to the bed, and as I said, that person on the phone to the 911 operator said they saw him next to the bed, but I'm thinking, well, where was the bed? It must have been on the ground floor. When we looked at the actual property, you know, you presume that the bedrooms would be upstairs, but they could be downstairs, of course, or even in the basement, I suppose. So that's something that's strange. And then where was his wife found? Was she also in the bed? Maybe she was still in the bed, or was she in a different room? Maybe she was sleeping with the children. You know, we don't know. We don't know the full circumstances of where this poor couple were found. And yeah, where were the children? Were they in a separate bedroom completely? You know, a 1-year-old, you would think, would be quite likely that they might be in the same room as their parents, even a 4-year-old as well, but especially a 1-year-old. So I just think these poor kids, I hope they're too young to remember what happened, because it seems, you know, that they were actually there when this horrible these horrible murders happened. So yeah, the other thing that I personally, and again, it's just my opinion, you know, just what I'm sort of thinking is, the police have not released any warning to the community. You know, like, I just think, you know, if it was my community or yours or anybody's, and somebody broke in somebody's house and shot them, and the police thought it was a robbery, surely they would be saying to people, be vigilant. You know, we think this is a robbery. Keep your doors shut. Make sure your windows are closed. Your alarms are on. The police aren't saying that. To me, the police aren't issuing a warning to the community because they've either got a good idea who did it, or they know it was a targeted attack, rather than, you know, thinking that the whole sort of neighborhood needs to worry because this murderer is wandering around the neighborhood. You know, otherwise, wouldn't the police be saying, you know, issuing a specific warning to that neighborhood? Don't, you know, be extra careful and that. I don't think they haven't said that. All they've done is asked for, you know, any footage that anybody has. Just makes you wonder, because sometimes the police, you know, we always, as from watching TV programs and things, we always expect quick arrests, don't we? And doesn't always happen. It's not like in the sort of TV detective shows, is it, where everything has to happen within an hour? And you know, the films, etc., take a long time to get evidence together, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And I think we saw that especially with the Idaho 4 case, didn't we, Brian Kohberger? People were very critical of the police, said they were moving too slowly and why haven't they arrested anyone, etc. But of course, it turned out, it resulted that all the time they were keeping their eye on, you know, Brian Kohberger was in the police's radar right from probably day one, or certainly not far after day one. But they were just gathering evidence, weren't they, and waiting for the right time. So it could be that the police are perfectly aware of who did this, but, you know, they're just getting all their ducks in a row, as we say. And yeah, have they just released that little snippet of the guy walking down the road who they say is the perpetrator? I'm sure they've got more video than this. Let's have another look at it, I think. Because it's sort of fascinating. You know, you just think, what was this person thinking? Can you imagine you're sort of going to someone's house, knowing that you're going to kill them, and there's children in the house. it's just horrible, isn't it? What sort of person could do that? Let me just put it back to the beginning. What sort of person? Literally, what were they thinking as they were walking along the road like this? This is what the police have. So they look sort of got hands deep in their pockets. They look deep in thought, but it's difficult to say if they are or not, of course, because you can't see their face. Very long legs. Look at those legs. They are long. They're striding out. This is a tall person. I think quite a powerful person. What was going through their head? All that hate you must be carrying in you. It's a lot of hate to carry in you, knowing that you're going off to kill 2 people and there are children in the house. You've got to be quite a disturbed individual, haven't you? Anyway, let me just... anyway, it's probably just as well we can't get our head around these people. If you could get your head around them, then it wouldn't be a very good sign, really, would it? So yeah, so this is the case so far of Spencer and Monique and their poor children, who luckily have been spared their lives, but have got to grow up without their mum and dad. But it sounds from what the family say, at least the family are going to look after them. But is there likely to be, what do you think? Do you think the police know more than they're saying? Do you think that this snippet of the suspected perpetrator has been released because, just to keep people talking about something? Do you know what I mean? It's like, and because I always think that's a good idea, because when there's a void in information, people will start making it up. And we don't want that, do we, in this case? So it's good that they've released that, because now people will be talking and analysing that video of the perpetrator or the suspected perpetrator. Because, the media, not only social media, they're hungry for information, and they want to give him, people want information, and the media, social media or mainstream media, want to give people the information. So the police have released some information that we can talk about. Do you think that's a deliberate strategy while they're investigating into, maybe they do have a suspect, or maybe they don't? Maybe they really have no idea who has done this, and that's the reason that they've released that snippet. But anyway, let me know what you think. Well, we'll pray for justice in this case. Pray for those poor children. Yeah, and as soon as if I hear any more, I will be back on to tell you all about it. So thank you for caring about them. Thank you for caring about Spencer and Monique. I hope they get justice. I think there is, my personal opinion, I think there's something that is unknown in this case, because why? Murders are normally about, it's either love, isn't it, money, or sometimes, I suppose, mental illness. You might say it could be a mental illness thing. I mean, it seems unlikely that it'd be to do with Spencer's job, because would somebody be that angry about the dental work that they received that they'd actually go and kill 2 people? I mean, that seems unlikely, doesn't it? I know people's teeth are important, but for God's sake, I'm sure people wouldn't go and shoot a couple over, a botched crown or whatever. There's more to it. There's something personal here. There's some reason. There's something behind why somebody wanted, I think, personally, Spencer dead. And unfortunately, Monique, she was there, but she received 1 gunshot and Spencer received several gunshots, apparently. So you feel that the real anger was towards Spencer for whatever reason, but it's just a theory, isn't it? So at the end of the day, this couple are dead. and I hope the police solve it soon. So thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video, as always, and until then, may your God go with you. Thank you. Just put my outgoing video on. Bye bye.